This is Pukeology Podcast, where science meets your hilarious puke stories and the tips and tricks to stop that up-chuckle that you need.
You never know what's going to spew out of her mouth. Here's
my mama,
Dr. PukeNoMo.
Hello, guys. Hurricane Preparedness Pregnancy Checklist, Pregnant Pukeology, Episode 7. You want to hear more about hurricane preparation, what to do, how you should feel, what to pack, all these questions that are burning through us pregnant moms' minds. If you want NoMo morning sickness or pregnancy nausea, just visit our sponsor, nomonausea.com, the only natural way to instantly stop your pregnancy nausea and vomiting now. Or just place your NoMo nausea band on your registry for that new beautiful baby at Bye Bye Baby, Amazon, Walmart.com, or get one for your little one too at over 6,000 CVS stores near you. So what is a serious talk about hurricane preparation without the normal pukeology laughter that you're used to? We're about to give you that up-chuckle that you need even during a storm with crazy pukeology stories like nursing the profession of pukers, biology of barf, and recycling. Barf it now, eat it later. If you want to learn more about your pregnancy, humor and knowledge is the key to help you survive these 9 months, and just know we're in this together. By the end of Hurricane Pregnancy Preparation, Episode 7, you'll know 3 different things. Can barometric pressure of a hurricane actually induce labor? How to prepare for a hurricane, especially while pregnant, and healthy non-perishable foods that you can actually eat that must be in every single one of your survival kits.
Throwing up on a Tuesday? One puke story.
I worked in a nursing home straight out of high school, and one of the residents had a serious bowel infection, making her poo smell absolutely rancid. 3 of us went in to change her with our masks on, only to find the entire bed was covered in poop. My pregnant coworker immediately started vomiting in her mask that set the rest of us all vomiting while we were scrambling to get off our masks and find the bathroom. By the time all was said and done, we were covered in vomit and poop. I was never so glad to throw away a pair of scrubs. That was pukely perfect. Literary, Literati. So thanks again for sharing your story. A couple weeks ago, even though it was about 5 weeks ago, no one is ever going to let her live this down, especially since no one knew she was recently pregnant. One of my teachers in biology class ended up saying, I just don't feel right. So as a super good, wonderful student, I was making sure that she felt okay and asked her before class even got started whether or not she was feeling well. She said, to be honest with you, I think I'm not going to make it through the end of class, but I'll try my very best. She was standing above giving a presentation, and all of a sudden, this rosy mixed with milky, chunky substance started flying and spewing from her mouth. Every time she opened her mouth to talk about a mitochondria, I think, just exploded from her mouth. It turned from pink to green as all of the students turned around and kept looking at each other. She ran to go towards the bathroom, ended up starting to heave from the beginning of the doorway all the way through to the line of the bathroom. I felt so bad because we never knew she was pregnant. And I bet you never looked at biology class the exact same way again. Thanks, bio student, for sharing. Once when I was home by myself during my second trimester, when hubby was on a business trip, I ate exactly what my baby was craving: chicken. Well, I threw it up and it was creepy. Then I went back and ate it again. P.S. Tastes like chicken when you put salt on it before eating. Caution, the only side effect is the latter, that you will throw up again. Thanks again for sharing. Oh my gosh, that's so nasty.
The Science of Pukeology.
Don't we wish the Mythbusters would do an episode on whether or not a hurricane or a really bad thunderstorm can actually induce labor? Well, as a biomedical physicist prior to med school, I'll tell you everything that I personally know. Exactly what induces the start of labor is a mystery to all of us, but studies suggest that drops in barometric pressure, or the pressure in the atmosphere, can actually trigger the amniotic sac to rupture. This is what we lovely ladies know as breaking our water. The amniotic sac is kind of like a balloon, and the theory or the thought behind it is when you lower the external pressure on it, then there's an increase of having it pop. Makes sense, right? But the sac is really well protected, so these slight small drops in barometric pressure are highly unlikely to be the reason of the onset of labor, or at least I can say is not 100% of the contributing factor to why women go into labor. I do have to say, though, from personal experience, bad storms, especially thunderstorms, get full of laboring patients. But that also might correlate to my personal bad luck on the floor, because I felt like I was always catnip to pregnant women. So the more time I spent on call, the more time the pregnant ladies would start rolling in to have those babies. A study was recently done by Yasin, Yasin, and colleagues on the deliveries during Hurricane Andrew back in 1992, which was the lowest recorded drop of barometric pressure, or atmospheric pressure, that we've had to date. So, what they found was that there was actually no association between air pressure and labor. Please, for all that's good and holy, pass on the knowledge and let people know that no, drops in barometric pressure do not cause pregnant women to go into labor.
Tips and tricks to stop the up-chuckle that you need.
So let's discuss what needs to be in your pregnancy survival kit. First, be stocked for at least a 3-day supply of everything that we're about to mention. You need to pack at least 1 gallon of water daily per person, which basically means if you're a family of 4, make sure that you have at least 12 gallons of water just to be safe. So water purification tablets are very important because of unsanitary water conditions. They can actually harvest bacteria that are very harmful during pregnancy. Actually, if you want more specific knowledge or information about different types of bacteria that can affect you and what are the causations, what are the side effects of them, please listen to Pukeology Pregnancy Podcast, episode 5. It's actually called Foods to Avoid While Pregnant, but it gives you a full list of why you can't swallow the water in the lake or at water parks, or even worse, at a community pool, and not just about why you can't eat sushi, hot dogs, or lunch meat. So if you really want more in-depth information into bacteria and all that other stuff, also told in a hilarious Pukeology fashion with lots of humor, you can always tune in to listen to Pukeology Podcast 5. But sanitation, going back, is very important. Make sure that you yourself pack things that are necessary for your body to maintain or keep its best form of sterility. And so let me kind of explain that a little bit more. What needs to be packed is things like toilet paper, Make sure that you always have some sort of antibacterial to wash your hands, even if you don't have water, because again, we all know that fecal matter can harvest lots of bacteria. Wet wipes are something that's super great. Soaps, shampoo, rain gear. Okay, again, rain gear over top of clothing can keep you nice and warm. And that's very important because we pregnant women have a decreased ability to maintain our body heat to control. And that's the reason why we always have extremes. We're either like super hot or we're cold and we're shivering. So again, make sure that you also have change of clothing and bring extra underwear. If you pack nothing else, lots of underwear, because chafing does happen. We have all this extra edematous fluid and we're walking around in wet conditions, especially during a hurricane. And how horrible would that be to not have any underwear to change your clothes into? I believe that was one of the biggest unfortunate requests was for underwear over in Hurricane Irma that just hit in Texas. So again, it is something that you need to put in the back of your mind. I personally have packed multiple underwear for everybody in my family just because of hearing that news story. Make sure that you have a change of clothing, blankets, pillows, because the shelters usually don't have them, ladies and gentlemen. That's something that's a misnomer, most people think, oh, of course they'll have bedding for us. No, they don't. And bring an air mattress if you can. The cots are extremely uncomfortable. Flashlights are always great to make sure that you can see so that you don't get any injuries by tripping over things. Battery-powered radio so that you can always stay in tune to what's happening next. A mobile device charger, and also a backup battery that's fully charged. Remember, just because you have a backup does not necessarily mean that it's charged. So please do that. Portable grill or some way to actually heat up foods. Pregnant women, as we all know, have a decreased immunity. So make sure that you have a first aid kit for any minor types of cuts or abrasions. Insect repellent. The water levels get very high after a tropical storm, after a hurricane, and we increase the risk of Zika. I personally am in Florida, and so we are inundated with these Zika virus cases, and it's very sad because they can have lots of fetal abnormalities, as well as can actually cause a problem in the organogenesis phase, or the creation of the organs for babies or for mothers that are infected during their first 8 to 12 weeks gestational age. Sunscreen. Always a great idea. You never know if you're going to be inside or outside, even with the aftermath. Vitamins, not just your prenatals. You can always check back onto Pregnancy Podcast 4 to figure out which are the best prenatal vitamins that don't make you constipated or that don't hurt your tummy. And other natural remedies for anti-nausea, anti-diarrhea. I personally love PukeNoMo nausea bands. They not only will help you to stop your morning sickness, but they will help you to avoid vomiting in seconds. And they're also safe in pregnancy. So that would be one of the first things that I actually turn to. Don't forget your ID, your passport, and all medical type of paperwork, including your insurance card. That is very important just in case something happens where you do have to go to the hospital. When the electricity goes out, there may be a high correlation with the water mains breaking due to high winds. I know we are anticipating for Hurricane Irma, Category 3 hitting Tampa. Anything lower than that, a Category 4, be very used to the fact that you may not have water or electricity for a few days. Please bring plastic silverware and disposable plates to eat off of, because you don't want to get sick. You can't wash off regular utensils. So it's important that you just eat it, you throw it away, and you don't try to keep placing it back into your mouth to increase the risk of infection. So you want to know what you should be eating? There are some actually healthy non-perishable foods that you can pack. One is different high protein induced items like peanut butter, nuts, raisins, dry food, beef jerky, and other snacks that are packed with high energy caloric intake. Other drinks that you can, besides the Gatorades, we all know the Pedialytes are good for maintaining your electrolyte balance, but powdered or canned evaporated milk and juice are great besides the 1 gallon of water that you have per person that you're bringing. Again, guys, I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. This is basically an off-the-cuff hurricane awareness type of pregnancy podcast. I currently am awaiting Hurricane Irma to hit. That is one of the 2017 hurricane names that are affecting Florida. And as the Hurricane News Team or National Hurricane Center would call me hunkering down to wait out the storm, as I am actually Hurricane Disaster Relief Team at the hospital that I personally used to work at full time. So I will be back in the operating room, not just podcasting all over the nation. And it's going to be different, but it also feels good to make sure that I can help out my fellow Floridians, especially in this time of need. And I thought it was best to podcast when pregnant women are in need, and it's right about now. In the case of different natural disasters, I want them to know that they can listen to my voice, they can feel safe, heed warning, evacuate when told. And again, I hope you all enjoyed my version of this hurricane preparedness pregnancy checklist. Pregnancy Pukeology, Episode 7.
Pukeology Podcast, edutainment at its finest.